Welcome, guys, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about the gems, this first album, Phoenix, and obviously more things related to to rock and metal in general. So we can start by asking, and obviously introduce by yourself about this new band, the gems. When was created the idea to form the gems? The gems.
We started this band 1 year ago. We're all we all played in a band before, and we toured all over Europe and the world. And things happened, and our old colleague went rogue, and I think everyone knows already, but Janika was fired for some weird reasons, and with me and Emily did not agree at all. So we quit the band in solidarity with Janika, and we formed the Gems a year ago. And we've been working like crazy the whole year, writing an album, getting shows, signed with label, booking agents, recorded the album, and now we released it. And yeah, this is what really hard work can do in 1 year, and we're really proud of that.
Okay, amazing experience. Now, one thing that I saw, and for all in general, is for all people, is that you are with the Naval Records for this Phoenix album. You are listening by it. This is a great accomplishment because Naval Records is one of the biggest labels talking about the rock, especially for the new movement now, the new retro movement, talking about rock, alternative, hard rock. They are releasing a lot of this new kind of stuff. So for this, how was your enter to this big label? Who came in touch first? You was in touch with Naval Records, or perhaps Naval Records was in touch with you?
We, I mean, we've been in touch with Thomas, one of the owners, since we were part of Thunder Mother. I've been in contact with him. He really wanted to sign us back then, and once it was open knowledge or whatever for everyone that we were now a new band. A lot of people reached out to us. We were in a very fortunate situation where we had really heavy players. I wouldn't call it fighting for us, but really wanting us to sign with them. So we had a few different options that we, could compare, and we found that Napalm was the best option for us right now. And yeah, it's been really nice that a big label that like them really wanted to work with us. It's a real confidence boost, and it feels completely right for us to be with them.
Great. I mean, great to know. So other details, well, let's talk about this first album, Phoenix. So how was the composition process? Mona said that you are touring during the last year. So in which times did you start the composition process for this Phoenix?
We did it right away, actually, because I mean, we didn't plan to leave Thunder Mother. Everything came as a shock to us that Guernica got fired, and we just decided to leave, and we immediately also decided to start a new band together. And the first thing we did was to start writing songs, because I mean, it's important for bands to have music out so people can discover them, and to have songs to play live and stuff. So that was actually the very first thing we did, and the first thing that we put all our main focus on the first couple of months, so that we could as soon as possible go into the studio and record it. So yeah, and I mean, it's been kind of a smooth sailing, because we are all like used to work together, and we know what we want sound wise and stuff like that. So we've just been like, yeah, doing really hard work, and paid off, as Mona said.
Okay, interesting to know. So on this aspect, the composition process, which songs for you was the most difficult song to create?
They all had their challenges and things that went more smooth about them. But I think overall the most challenging thing was the time and the pressure, because we wanted to release an album as soon as we could, because we wanted to make use of the momentum that we helped building up with our previous band, and we didn't want to lose that. If you wait too long, that would have been lost, and we wanted to put an album out there as soon as we could, just to show the world our new band. And that meant that we wrote the songs in a very short amount of time. When you will write songs for a year in the normal case, but we did it for a few months only, and we wrote the last songs in the studio. Queens we wrote in the studio. So I think the hardest challenge was to pressure out all the creativity, and I think we managed to do that perfectly well. I'm so proud of what we accomplished, but it was stressful.
Okay. Oh, usually now we are living in a different world compared to the 80s or 90s or 70s, or even since 60s. At that time, I remember that the people prefer to listen to music just by albums, and before that, we are returning on time, just hearing the music just by singles, because now thanks to the trends of the playlist and whatever platform or streaming exists, so they put a lot of listeners hear the music just by singles. So for you, you are creating an album, your first album, but at the same time you are against to the movement to hear just singles, because an album in these years is very difficult. No more people listen, or perhaps consume physical material for this aspect. But talking to this aspect, for you, which song or songs resume all layers, textures that this album has?
Like a Phoenix is definitely a good example of that. Our first single. It really captures the strength that we've shown by rebuilding so fast and like really putting ourselves out there, as well as the song Queens, which is on the album, and we will make a music video for it in like 2 months. Which is also something that is important to us to pay tribute to the people that have worked really hard to make sure that we are able to do what we're doing now. So I think those are two pretty good examples. And do you guys have anything to add?
I mean, maybe also Send Me to the Wolves, because that one has like it represents the sound that we want perfectly, because it has a mix of classic rock, but it also with a very modern sound. So that one is kind of spot on with the genre we want to play.
Yeah, and I can also add something to the fact that people releasing singles. We did release 5 singles, until we released the album, and if we had the opportunity to choose, we would probably have been releasing singles, because it's just a smart thing to do at this day and age. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be able to promote every single song on the album, and I'm not trying to diss the music, but the industry is it's works a little backwards. It's not very, especially labels, they're not necessarily part of the future. They're trying to hold on to the past and doing their best to mix it up with where we are in the future, so to say. So I think we did the best of both worlds. And unfortunately, music business being the way it is, you have to have an album for it to get reviewed in magazines, for you to then be able to book shows. So it's like a moment 22. I don't know how you say that in English. It's an impossible thing. Like, you want to be part of the future and just go ahead and do all these things, but then the industry isn't really there yet. So you have to release an album for them to take you seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, interesting details to know. So
Yeah.
now talking about now especially for the cover art now. I saw that you are three on the cover art. So which came with the idea to put your three in the album? Because I remember a lot of bands in the 80s put the persons on the cover art. But and obviously the bands stocks the gems, you are the Phoenix, perhaps this kind of stuff with the cover art. And you mentioned that you have a little situations with the Thunder Mother before. Perhaps this album represents something special for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, even though there has been like a lot of, you know, writing about us in the media, there's still many people out there that hasn't really getting the news about that Thunder Mother has a new lineup, and that, you know, 75% of the band has a new band. So we thought it was kind of important to put our faces on the cover so that people would actually recognize us and see what who it is in the band. But also we are really inspired by Kiss. We love them, and we really love you know, their type of larger than life kind of vibe on their covers. So we took some inspiration from that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Phoenix was on the street days ago. So until now, how was the reception for this first album?
Very good. We're a little bit overwhelmed because there's been so many people writing to us saying, "Oh, I love your album, and my favorite songs are these," and it's so many people writing so nice things to us now. And the release part, we had a release party for it, and there were way more people than we thought that showed up, and that was just amazing. And we played the whole album from the first song to the last song. And also the reviews has been great. They have been like 7 out of 10 or like 4 out of 5. So very good reviews also. And yeah, great reception, really.
Great to know. Well, talking about for the future plans for this new album, what kind of plans do you have for this new album? Well, as you mentioned it, you did this album in months, and perhaps you already prepare another album, or perhaps you will. Guernica mentioned that this you a bit upcoming, and perhaps tours, or who knows, and you will came to the Latin America, more tours, who knows?
We would love to do all those things. We never got to tour Latin America with Thunder Mother, so that's definitely on our bucket list to do. I feel like Rock in Rio is still one of my dream festivals to play. Main stage, but still, there's a lot of things that I just want to add that, just putting it out there. There's so many things that we want to do, and yes, we actually already started. We haven't started writing the next album. We haven't. We still want to enjoy Phoenix and really maximize everything you can do with an album. But we've all said that our dream would be to be able to release the next album 2025. So that's, I'm not saying that's going to happen because it's all about time and money, but we definitely would like to keep this ball rolling and use 2024 to give ourselves a little more time to create. So we might have an entire 12 months to, well, now January is past, so 11 months to actually write new material. But we want to do everything, and we have a tour. Our booking agent is planning a tour in the fall all throughout Europe. So a lot of things is gonna, happen here. And then, yeah, I think the coming weeks are going to be very telling too of what festivals and things we will do, and it's mostly around Scandinavia at first. But yeah, world domination is on the agenda, so it's baby steps.
Okay, nice to know. So we are very close to end this interview, guys. And for this aspect, well, as you know now, are the main bands or the mainstream bands like Iron Maiden, Kiss, Judas Priest. Now, there are the biggest bands now. Well, until now, there are the biggest bands right now for fill stadiums, a lot of things. But now with this music more personalized, with tastes and color, as you can see, you can put some songs from this new album just for 100 people, 20, 200 people. It's not like anymore like mainstream label. A lot of bands are passed during these aspects. So for you, which what's your opinion about for the future on the music industry? Because now the music is so personalized and there is no more mainstream bands.
Yeah, it's a little sad. I mean, but I think we are all kind of hopeful about the future, and also that's why we have chosen to have a more modern sounding rock, because we do believe and hope that we could help like bring rock back into the mainstream audience again, because I mean in the 80s it was huge, and um I I mean, I get the feeling that a lot of people can enjoy rock music, even though they don't really admit it. Uh, but I mean, it's a hard question, because who knows what will happen in the future? Like, uh, things are changing all the time. Feels like you girls have any?
I mean, we're gonna do our utmost to be able to take over after these legends won't be able to get up on stage anymore. That's the dream. First of all, to get to maybe open for them, and then be able to like carry that torch and get a new generation to get into rock music and fall in love with the music the way that we've all fallen in love with it. We just try to package it in a way where we can try to like sneak it into a younger generation.
Yeah, if I can add something, the music business has changed a lot since we started. Nowadays we are more depending on having like on content, creating content for paying patrons, for example, and make money out of YouTube, and think more outside the box as a musician and look at the surrounding areas, like where can we as poor musicians earn some extra money. And so that changed a lot, and there are always new tools and the platforms developing, so we always need to be in the front line and learn new things. But also I think in the future, as AI is developing really fast, I think when more things are going to be AI generated, I think there will be some kind of backlash that people want to see real things made by real humans. So I think and I hope that this will benefit the live music scene, so that people want to come and see real people performing real songs, and not just like AI generated stuff. They want to see something that's real, and I hope I have it right in this, because otherwise it's very depressing with the AI.
I love what you just said, Mona. It's really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of the last questions, and talking about in general, as I remember, I'm from the 80s. Remember when appeared bands like hair rock, this stuff, the lyrics they're against something. I remember when black metal appears, the black metal was against the Christianity, against the religion. The death metal presents a lot of horror movies, a lot of horror stuff. Hard rock, thrash metal against this political, economic, society in general. That's the main thing. Always the rock, punk, and metal at that time was against something. I remember against something. But now, at that time, when you walk on the streets, I remember when I walk with my Cannibal Corpse t-shirts or DSI t-shirts, then the people see you in the street is here. Hey, this is mad because there are Christ on the t-shirt or a cross inverted, this kind of stuff. That's not for me. It's just pictures, and it's not something else. But for other people, at that time, it's not well accepted. But now the metal, rock, punk is more accepted. Now, when you walk on the streets with different wear, with different clothes, with different stuff, the people see it normally. That's normally now. That is kind of stuff. The metal rock punk in the 80s and 90s was against something. But now the metal told all these kind of lyrics is not against nothing, because these styles are more accepted with the people. As you can see, their YouTube channels joking about the black metal stuff, joking about the punks, a lot of things. So what's your point of view now we are living in a world that the rock, metal, punk, all subgenres of rock are well more accepted and noticed against something?
I'd say that it's a tricky question, because it's like, in one hand, I think it's really nice that everyone can be accepted for who they are and be okay with that, and I think that's important for everyone to be able to express themselves freely. But I mean, as far as for us, our expression comes, we're not against anything more than bullshit and liars, and that's kind of comes across in our lyrics. And I think that what I'm hoping to bring back to rock more than the aesthetic, because the aesthetic is whatever. I think rock is so much more than how you look. It's an attitude. It's daring to be different. And I think that's something that we are doing it the way that we dare to do an album that is very like all over the place musically, you know what I mean? Like, we have a Queen inspired song, we have a Van Halen inspired song. We're not trying to walk this like line that someone decided for us. This is rock, because that's something that I've thought is frustrating the last few years. It's that a lot of the rock people that I've learned to, you know, that I've known here in Stockholm especially, are very like, rock is this, you look like this, you act like this, you think like this. And to me, it takes away everything that has to do with rock music. Rock to me is doing whatever the fuck you want. So yeah, rap artists are more rock today than maybe rockers are, but I'm hoping that we three can be part of like bringing some new air to that, of like creativity and being whoever you want. Girls?
Yeah, it feels like old time rockers, they were rock by being scary and hard and like anti-Christ or whatever. And nowadays, you need you need something else because everything is done already. It feels like we are more rock because we squeeze in pink stuff, glitter, and like violins and nice harmonies and references to Beyonce or Madonna. That feels more rock now. Exactly what Janika said. Like, all the rockers are like, this is rock, and you need to wear all of these things, and this is how it should sound. So it feels more rock to go against that and squeeze in other things nowadays.
Well, girls, the sad times arrived at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview like me. Your first album is a great one, Phoenix. Congratulations on it. I will for the next one. So perhaps do you want to add something to your new Latin American fans and obviously Metallivium followers?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of nice connections to Latin America in different ways. And as Guernica mentioned before, that's definitely on our bucket list. We would love to come and play all over Latin America. And yeah, to all of you who enjoys our music and supports us, thank you. We appreciate you so much. Yeah.
Muchísimas gracias.